Turn the dial, turn it loud. Miami's pride, make us proud. CanesWear crew, you hear the crowd. Hurricanes ain't backing down. Every play, every score. Raising bets and raising roar. Rocking orange, green galore. All for one and one for four. We got FTSN, taking names, win it again. Podcast fam, till the end. Tune in, now let's begin.
Hello and welcome to the Wednesday edition of the CanesWear Podcast. We are live at 9 p.m. We know there's a lot of games going on. The Panthers are playing Toronto right now. We got the Knicks playing the Celtics. We've got Denver going against OKC tonight. So lots of sports going on. We had the NFL draft where we saw our man Cam Ward being picked number one. Not that anyone know that because all they were talking about is Shedeur Sanders. Has he been drafted yet, guys? I don't even know. Let's see. Mel Kiper? Yes, he has been. So we got a lot going on. We got NIL, lots of things. The transfer portal. We got basketball doing well. We got our baseball experts, Mondo and Gio here. So thank you for joining. Remember, we're on the FTSN network. Go ahead and like and subscribe, please. So Bobby and the team does an awesome job. We're also streaming on Gio's Twitter, on my Twitter. I think we're everywhere. So if you look up at the blimp somewhere flying around, I think we're on that too. Times Square, we're everywhere. So show, and thank you. We got Gio and how are you guys doing today?
Doing
What's up,
good.
guys?
Canes baseball just they got the monkey off their back. They beat FIU tonight 10-6.
Awesome.
Nice win. You had 2 home runs to open up the game as well.
Amazing.
Yeah.
The last time we were here, they were starting to play well. We missed a week, but what happened to this team? What happened to Canes baseball? I mean, JD, what did he do? What did he say?
I mean, these days, rarely am I stunned at anything anymore, but this is a pretty stunning turnaround. They were pretty much toast. We talked about it. It seems like ever since they changed the pitching rotation, they put Walters as their closer. I mean, to me, since the first week, I have been saying that Griffin Hugas was their best pitcher. They put him as the Friday night guy, and Siskar was the Broward County High School Pitcher of the Year last year. He's their number 2 now.
Wow.
So their pitching has gotten much better, and their hitting has just turned up. Cuvée now is hitting like the last few weeks, like the guy he is leading the team, and they got some players, Ogden and Galvin. Telling you these next 2 series are going to be critical for them, but their team is pretty dangerous right now. They're playing really, really well.
They have 2 of the best freshman arms in the country right now. It's incredible.
Yeah.
It's exciting for the future, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Great turnaround. Shocking.
That's awesome.
Great.
Can this team? They're where are we in the ACC? We're close to the top, right?
A little past the middle right now.
Okay, so we're closer to the top now than Deadbot.
Which is pretty remarkable. They were like 1-9 in the ACC, if I'm not mistaken.
They were dead last in the ACC about
Yes.
weeks ago. So they've been climbing up. They've won their last 3 ACC series. Basically, they really haven't lost since that one game that they lost against Duke. And then since there, they've just been ripping. Aside from a midweek loss to FIU along the way. But, I mean, they got that monkey off their back today, which was nice to see. I guess FIU just kind of has their card or number, whichever you want.
They turn into the 27 Yankees every time we play them, it seems.
Yeah, no, it's amazing how some teams have certain teams numbers in every sport, in college and pro and everything. So the team has turned it around. The only way we can get into a tournament or anything is if we win the ACC, or do you think we can get in another way with this late run?
They have a chance to get in even without winning the ACC as long as they continue churning out some wins here, continuing winning some ACC series as well. Mondo, I know we were looking at the RPI earlier in the baseball chat that they were as high as I think was it 26 today?
Really?
Yeah, in that range, I've seen anywhere 26, 28, which is mind-boggling because like a month ago they were like in the 90s. They were nowhere near. They were out of the tournament.
Amazing.
It's like
so 26, and it's not how you start; it's how you finish, right? I mean, we always know the hot team is the team they want to get in there. So if we can have a decent performance in the ACC tournament, that could project us into the regionals, correct?
Well, they went 5-0 against Georgia Tech or the NC State, the finale, they were leading, but it got rained out.
Mhm.
They went 5-0 in 5 of those games, and those are 2 top 15 teams, which were playing really well. It's not like they were 30-win teams playing great. Georgia Tech, they swept them. So these next 2 series against, I think it's UVA and Notre Dame, if I'm not mistaken, those are going to be really big series. But right now they're in without a. I think they said they were a 3. Somebody was saying they were.
I heard as high as a
seed.
2 seed.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
Well,
We'll
that's
see.
amazing. So
We'll see.
well, guys, remember, comments are welcome. We'll try to get the one person to a $25 CanesWear gift card. I don't know if is everybody that we've given one to. I don't know if they've got back to us. If you haven't, please do. Jacoby Graggs, welcome to the show. I think he's won one in the past. Real ball knowers, no back. No, real ball knower. Real ball. Read that, Gio. It's a tongue twister.
Real ball knowers back. My guys, go Canes.
All right. Good job. Thank you for the assist, Gio. Thanks for joining us, Jacoby. Joshua, thanks for coming in. Fellas, hope you've been well. What's up with Muhammad Tori?
What's up? Miami's in a really good spot right there. He'll be deciding the next couple of days. The Rutgers linebacker had 94 tackles during the 2023 season, 5 sacks, as well as an interception against Ohio State. That's one of his best games that year was actually against Ohio State. Corey Heatherman, obviously Miami's defensive coordinator now, coach Toure at Rutgers as well. Missed last season with a torn ACL. Everything has been cleared medically. Miami's really excited about him. Still battling there with Penn State, Indiana trying to get in the mix and whatnot, but Miami feels really good about where they stand. Things could come to a close relatively quick there.
Awesome. So we should hear something like that in about 48 to 72 hours?
Yeah, I'd say that's a rough guesstimate, about 48, 72 hours. He's wrapping up his North Carolina visit, so.
And he's a linebacker, right?
Yeah. He would make a large impact.
All right. Well, good to hear. Thanks for the question, Joshua. Russ Morgan, welcome to the show. Let's get the college baseball talk going. Guys, answer that. If you have any questions, Russ, on college baseball, feel free to ask. Russ, again, ACC, Great Florida. You read that one, Gio. Mike's screen popped.
Let's see. ACC, Great Florida State is great. Jamie Arnold is a dude, top pick, and Clemson is solid too. Yeah, he's right on the money with that.
All right. Awesome. Okay. Russ, again, midweek series, pitching your underclassmen. All right. So underclassmen did well today?
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's good. We need the future, even though, unfortunately, in college baseball, college basketball, college football, we're hoping they figure something out that we know a guy's going to be here for 2 to 3 years. It'd be nice that you can really groom a guy and they sign a contract and they're here for a few years. I think that's the next thing that's going to happen to NIL. Kim Sanchez, my favorite podcast. Hi, Kim. Thank you for joining the show. Juan Emanuel, the 5. Gio Breton Mondo, we want smoke. Gio Breton Mondo, is there a scenario where Mario loses all his starting O-linemen in 26? Do you think Mario can convince McCoy, Bell, Rodriguez to stay? That's obviously a Gio question.
Well,
you wanted to take it
We'll give it to Gio. We'll defer on that
one. The tricky question there is when it comes to Markel Bell, because it was a JUCO guy. You had the new JUCO transfer ruling as well, where guys are getting an extra year of eligibility. From what I understand, he could come back another year if he chose to. Some people in the building believe that he could creep up into being a legitimate NFL draft prospect this year as an offensive tackle. He's really progressed a lot since he arrived last spring. Left guard, that's a competition still ongoing. Ryan Rodriguez, Matthew McCoy, that'll carry into fall camp. Both guys still have another year of eligibility. I don't foresee either of them jumping early, so they'll at least keep one. They'll retain one. Your center, Brockermeyer, he'll be gone after this year. He's a 1-year rental guy. Your right guard, Inez Cooper, he's on his last year. And Francis Mauigoa, barring anything like a catastrophic injury, he's gone to the NFL. It's just very unlikely that he returns. So chances are you may return one starting offense, and then technically 2 because Matt McCoy started games last year too. He started 11 out of the 12 regular season games. Ryan Rodriguez started the opener against the Florida Gators.
Now, are they all, how many of them are eligible to come back if they choose to?
Really, it would just be Bell on the technicality of the JUCO transfer ruling, and then your others would be Ryan Rodriguez and Matthew McCoy, and Francis Mauigoa. But I just think that's just a foregone conclusion. I'd be totally surprised if he's back another year.
Can he be a top 5 pick, top 10 pick?
I think top 5 may be a little bit of a stretch. I think top 10 could be realistic depending on the season that he has. There's some people that they have a little bit of concerns in terms of like the run game where they want to see him improve according to some scouts. So those are some factors that he's got to work on coming into his junior year, his money year. But he's very much viewed as like a consensus first round pick. I've seen anywhere ranging from top 15 to top 10. But again, it's still very early right now.
It's this year. Obviously, we've seen guys blow up, and then we've seen guys fall. They're obviously they got to play the year. Joshua says, "Awesome, he can really raise the room. Thanks for answering." Russ, dude, I'm a college nuts. What's up, fellas from Polk Kane? Thanks for joining the show. Juan Emmanuel, could Miami have 2 new starting linebackers versus Notre Dame, the Fighting Leprechauns? So can Miami have 2 new starting linebackers?
It's a very real possibility since you just added Kamal Bonner from NC State, who will have 3 years of eligibility, started the back half of the season for the Wolfpack, 7 games, played in 13 of them for them last season. Mohamed Toure, a lot of experience, played big-time football in the Big Ten. Most of his best performances are against really good teams like the Ohio States and Michigans and Michigan States over the course of his career in New Jersey with the Scarlet Knights. So then you have Wesley DeSaint returning, who started last year and partial of the year before that. You also got Raul Popo Aguirre in the mix as well at linebacker. So it's very much going to be an open competition when they get to fall camp. If I had to pencil someone in, and things are trending very well with Mohamed Toure from Rutgers, he would likely be one of those starting linebackers if he ends up following through with a commitment to Miami this week. And then the other, I think you're just going to see a really big competition between a guy like Kamal Bonner and Wesley DeSaint. I know some people are a little soured on Wesley DeSaint. He hasn't become exactly what people had hoped he would be. But again, sometimes competition brings the best out of everyone. And you also got Cameron Bobby Pruitt in that linebacker too. So that group can get very deep very quickly here.
Awesome. So a lot of exciting things. Still have a few months to the season, so we're still going to see some excitement coming on and who we're getting. While we were watching the Panthers, anyone a Panther fan, obviously watching the game as well. The Panthers scored to tie it up 3-3, Mondo. But then within 20 seconds later, it seemed like Toronto scored. So the Panthers are on the heels.
Happening all night. It's like
exactly Toronto, every time they score, they come right back. So we had Cliff for a second. I saw he disappeared. So, guys, what do you think about the NFL draft?
I think it was a great moment for the program, having a number 1 overall pick, 3rd time in history happening. Second quarterback in program history to go number 1 overall. I could tell that Tennessee's really excited about Cam. You even had Warren Moon show up to his introductory press conference with the 1 jersey, basically giving his blessing like, hey, like, I want you to wear number 1 and plan that Cam's going to wear number 1 in Tennessee. Nice to see Xavier Restrepo and Cam go to the same team. I know not many people were expecting Xavier Restrepo to go undrafted, but sometimes there's blessings in disguise. I think for the type of player that he is, I think situation and fit is the thing that comes much more into play rather than where you're getting drafted. Like what team's drafting you. Like he got to pick out that situation. And I think it's the most ideal thing being back with Cam again.
Yeah, no, and I knew it run around the fourth or fifth round, but I mean, I think when they showed that video online of Restrepo on the phone with Tennessee, I'm assuming it was a GM or somebody in the Tennessee brass was saying, yeah, it's not conventional, but Ward was calling us around the fourth round saying you got to get this guy. So, I mean, when you got the franchise quarterback putting in a good word for you, he's got a leg up on any incoming rookie. I mean, I've seen the depth chart of them. It's not an imposing wide receiver depth chart. So I think there are a couple good players, but I think he can pave a nice little road for himself there in Tennessee, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I texted him after congratulating and saying that exact thing. You know, sometimes obviously it's a blessing that he is going there to Tennessee. A lot of times you can be drafted in the 5th or 6th round and you end up with the wrong team. And we know sometimes you start off on the wrong foot. They may not have a place for him. With Cam, he's got an opportunity. That being said, I mean, when they came out and said, you know, we wanted him to be, we were going to take you in the 4th. Cam wanted you, but we waited into free agency. I mean, so if Cam really wanted him, they waited the 4th, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, and they said, okay, now we got him in free agency. They had no idea nobody else was going to pick him. So their number one quarterback, the guy they're building the franchise around. The Denver Broncos took him in the 6th round. Sorry, Cam. That was a little bit interesting to me that they said, you know, that they were even thinking about him in the 4th. Why not take him?
Because that's where I mean, sometimes, of course, the public spiel that they give off, but maybe they didn't have him rated up there. So
Exactly.
Once the 5th or 6th round comes, they're like, you know what? Let's just obviously if they miss out on him, fine. But if they can get him, you know, I'm sure they called him immediately once the draft was over. Piggybacking on what Gio mentioned about Warren Moon, those like Brett. I mean, we're a little older, obviously. I've said forever that nobody has thrown ever. I know you got Marino, Elway.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm telling you that nobody threw a nicer looking football than Warren Moon.
Beautiful. Warren Moon.
I'm telling you, this dude spirals. If you're too young, just watch some old YouTube or something. And that light blue Oilers jersey, now Tennessee, that's going to be a badass selling jersey, and it's going to be a dope jersey for. And it's pretty cool that Warren Moon gave up that number to Ward. I'm not sure if they had a past relationship. I know Ward's from Texas originally, right? So I'm assuming there's some sort of relationship there, maybe. But you don't just give up your number to anybody. So that's pretty cool of Warren Moon to do that.
Didn't Moon play for Minnesota as well?
Yeah, but he was with the Houston Oilers for a long time.
Yeah, he was with Houston Oilers, exactly. So, I think there's somebody recently that says he's not giving up his jersey to someone else. I forgot who that was. There's somebody in the NFL that said, I'm not giving up my jersey.
Oh, that was
who was that?
Lawrence Taylor.
56.
No.
Okay.
Because of Abdul Carter that just came from Penn State to the Giants.
LT, no way. LT.
I mean, the problem is you give up your jersey. I understand. So let's say, like, Dan Marino is obviously the greatest quarterback in Miami history, never won. But Jake Scott, for those old timers, remember, I mean, a Super Bowl MVP, phenomenal the 5 years he was, probably the greatest safety we ever had, interceptions, fumbles, everything. You know, he never had his number retired, but people don't talk about the guy that was first. So a guy comes along, Cam Ward comes along, sets every record in the world. People are going to say, Warren who? How are they both going to retire the number? I mean, I know I'm jumping ahead of myself, but
I think some people look at it this way in terms of that the Oilers franchise is not around. Obviously, it's carried on to the Tennessee Titans.
Right.
Some people view it as, you know, Moon's number was retired with the Oilers and that Cam is a new era with the Titans wearing number 1. That's how some people view it.
No, I believe that. There's same franchise, but obviously different eras. The Houston Oilers, who went to the Tennessee Oilers, right? And then they became the Tennessee Titans. A lot of people were upset in the draft that Cam got brushed over. I mean, they didn't even have an interview for him on ESPN. And the whole time they're talking about how Shedeur Sanders is the best player in the draft. And all you heard at every pick then after is Shedeur. It was the Shedeur show. Whoever got drafted, who cares about that scrub? Shedeur's here. What do you guys think about that?
Well, I heard on and I'll let Gio talk, obviously, but I heard on radio, I watched a few things. A lot of teams didn't even have Shedeur on their board at all. Because number one, and I didn't think about this at the time, I probably should have. A lot of GMs and head coaches, they're nervous if, you know, they get him is Dion going to take my job as a head coach? Because Dion's a hot name right now. So if you're a head coach and all that, I mean, and number one, Gio, correct me if I'm wrong, a lot of people didn't have Shedeur that high to begin with. Forget about his dad. People think, of course, Deion Sanders, the high stepping, this and that. I've even heard that people don't even think Shedeur is very athletic. I'm not saying he's a scrub. Yeah. Obviously, he's a very good player. But, I mean, once he fell to the top, yeah, go ahead.
I think one of the biggest things that stood out was you watch that video of Cam and Shedeur working out together before the draft, and everyone noticed it. But it's not like you can't notice it, and you see the zip, on the ball from Cam, and then you watch Shedeur throw it, and it seems just almost kind of flat, kind of floating. And don't get me wrong, I think Shedeur is a very accurate quarterback. I do think a bit limited athletically compared to what people are thinking that he really is.
Right.
The position. Obviously not out of this world arm strength or anything of that sort. Do I think he's a 5th round talent? No. I think he definitely slid much further than he should have.
Sure. Yeah.
Do I think he was a 1st round quarterback? No. I'll be honest on that. I was even surprised just seeing the projections coming up to the draft that some people were saying that, oh, he'll go top 10 or top 15 or top 20. I was like, man, I think he'll be lucky to sneak in like late first. I thought he was like a 2nd or 3rd round guy. I didn't think there was any attributes there that really stood out like, oh my God, like this is a must get guy in the draft. But again, I think you saw that reflect with the NFL GMs too, because there's been countless guys year over year that have come with character concerns, XYZ reasons why they may slip in the draft, but teams will still go and take that chance on them. I think it's more than just the media concerns, like the attention that comes with his camp. I think it was more than just that. I think it's just in general how they viewed him as a prospect.
Right.
Weren't that high on him as the public perception was. And I think it was hilarious just seeing Mel Kiper just
he was going
the entire draft.
Ballistic. I think that's part of his dad. Sorry, go on, Joe.
I mean, let's put it this way. Look, maybe we all end up wrong 10, 15
of course.
You never know. You never know.
An amazing quarterback.
He could be as good as Brady Quinn.
Win some Super Bowls or whatever. You never really know.
You never know.
Until they get to the league and they start doing the thing. But you'd think by the way that Mel Kiper was talking about him that this was the next Peyton Manning, Andrew Luck, Tom Brady. I mean, my God.
Well, there was a lot of talk before the draft, and several people, big names, reported that his interview with the Giants was a full-on disaster. And Sharon, I think I mentioned it on here, or
he came unprepared.
Yes, I mentioned on Twitter, possibly. I know I did because I tweeted it before the draft. Because one of my good personal friends is a big Giants fan. A lot of people were saying that they may trade up. I know they got Russell Wilson. They picked up Jameis Winston, but there was a lot of talk about them trading up to the end of the 1st, early 2nd, and getting Jackson Dart. A lot of people thought, no way. Well, what did they do? They traded up and they got Jackson Dart at 25 or 26 or whatever it was. So, and then the Browns not only passed him up 3 or 4 times, they got the Oregon quarterback and then drafted Shedeur later. So that doesn't tell you, like with Gio's point. To me, if you're an all-world player, you could tank an interview, or somebody will give you a chance. But I think obviously, like Gio and you just said, Brett, you never know. It's an inexact science. You never know who's going to be great. But yeah, Mel Kiper was like, damn, he was like on another planet in the whole draft. It was great.
And there were other good quarterbacks in college that went. I mean, the Dolphins got Quinn Ewers late draft. I mean, the Ohio State quarterback went late.
The kid from Louisville.
Syracuse quarterback went late.
The kid from Louisville, Tyler, what's his name?
Tyler Shuff.
My bad. Yeah, him. He might be something. The Saints got him, right?
Yeah.
You never know who's going to be good. But I think with the quarterback position over all positions, you want him to be a leader. And if he really answered those questions, and they asked him, if it's true, they asked him, what would you do in this situation? And he said, if you don't like it, don't draft me. If he really said things like that, that's pretty terrible. That's not good. But
the other problem that comes into play is when you turn down
interviews.
It was 13 or 14 interviews with teams.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
see, I don't even know that.
Closing down your options.
Yeah. He took like the people. He said, "You're not going to be able to draft me anyway. I'm going to be gone or something."
Then that explains to me what I said a few moments ago, where people had him off the board. I didn't even know that. Well, then that
exactly
probably explains it there. You know.
Plus, what coach wants to draft a guy that's saying my father's going to want to be the head coach? And you just know that if you're in the news that something goes wrong, that daddy's going to be commenting left and right. And I just think it was not good how they passed over and didn't even talk about the Cam Ward from 0 stars to the number 1 pick. I mean, that is a great story. And instead, they went with the fluff of
it's beyond a great story. Like I know he had the onstage interview with, I think, Molly McGrath, if I'm not mistaken. He choked up or whatever. But after that's it. You didn't from 0. What the hell do you see that from 0 stars?
Exactly. That is a great story in America. That is the best story in the world. Why they didn't push that more? Why they instead said we're going to talk about Segura
honestly,
the whole time.
I'd even say that if we're Canes here, but if that was a Gator, a Nolan Irish, that's a remarkable, like almost like movie like shit. Like 0 star guy.
It will be a movie. He'll be the next Rudy.
Incarnate Word in Washington State, and it's pretty crazy.
It's
like comparable to like the Kurt Warner and Tom Brady story.
Great point. Yes. And one last thing on Shedeur Sanders. He's taking number 12. He says his mentor, Tom Brady. If Tom Brady's his mentor and he's really helping him, how many chances did Oakland have to draft him?
That's true. I thought about that.
Well, they did also spend a boatload of money on Geno Smith. So, but
Geno, I don't think is the answer for, as you saw with.
I think it's a lot better than what they had.
Correct. Exactly. It's quarterbacks are now musical chairs. If a team doesn't like him, they're gone so fast. Even though I thought Geno did a good job where he was at, but I was surprised the Raiders didn't look at him if that was the case. Who else went for the Canes? Elijah Arroyo was the second pick in the draft for us, correct?
The Seattle Hurricanes, right?
Seattle's always drafting Hurricanes. Way back when, the Brian Blades, they've got so many. They had Cortez Kennedy, if I recall, way back when. Obviously, they had DJ Dallas, Travis.
Well, that's actually a good spot, a good landing spot for him, because I read that they're they got Sam Darnold now. Their tight end that they drafted a few years ago is on the last year of his deal, I believe it is.
No offense.
No offense. So you couldn't ask for him. He's got who did Seattle pick up at receiver? Was it? Well, they got the number 1 from the kid from Ohio State that stayed behind. He's solid.
Correct, yeah.
So they got
Jackson Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, because Metcalf left and he's there still, and it's a pretty good spot for him. Sam Darnold goes there. It's a good landing spot, to be honest with you.
They got Martinez also, didn't they? Late was that them or someone else? So
that's what we were saying.
We were all talking about. I think he is going to be a beast. I mean, you can get a great long shot on him.
I was surprised he went
rookie of the year.
Yeah, he went late, like really late. Later than I thought.
I'm screaming. The Dolphins went with the guy OG from obviously Oklahoma State, and I was by Arande Gatson, and I said that the Dolphins got an OG also. He said my son's OG too. I said this guy's OJ3.
Now where I love that. I love the landing spot for the tight end now for Martinez. Yeah, there it's like if I'm not, I don't think any of the running backs left. Did they? They still have Kenneth Walker. They still got unless Charbonnet left. Did he leave or is he still there?
That's a good question. It'll be third.
Because they're pretty solid at running back unless somebody left in free agency.
But they're all seem to be injury prone.
Yeah, that position is just ruthless, man. You got to have 2 or 3 guys.
It is. So who else was drafted high? Who came out? Who went after Arroyo?
After Arroyo, you had there was Jalen Rivers.
Jalen Rivers won. Awesome.
It's Jalen Rivers who went to the Bengals, so he gets to reunite with Matt Lee.
That's good. Yeah, they need offensive line help for sure there.
Yeah, him, and then you had Tyler Barron and Kiko Mauanoa. They both went to the Jets.
Yeah, the Jets and the Patriots drafted Hurricanes. Everyone drafts Hurricanes with the Dolphins right now. Supposedly,
Pretty
they're
interesting.
allergic to the orange and green.
And if you're a Dolphins fan, you're probably upset that Andy Borealis is playing.
Patriots.
Oh, exactly. So how do you root for, if you're a Finns fan, you're rooting for the guy. It's one thing to, you're rooting for a player, but here we go. We want him to miss.
Well, from all
so
indications, the Jets and Patriots had really good drafts. Everything I've seen and read, the new Jets front office supposedly did a great job, and the Patriots. So,
where'd Andy go in the 6th round or the 5th?
Six was it? I think.
Which is high for a kicker. I was
Not
surprised
bad.
he went that high.
Most teams are not going to.
Weren't sure if he was going to be drafted or not.
Most teams you generally wait for the.
Yeah, but you know what?
Undrafted.
Did you notice some of these guys? Jacory, I think with Jacoby, got like $250,000 signing bonus. I mean, they make that's a lot more money than a 5th round pick.
Thanks, Brett. Thanks, Brett. I got to be at work at 8:00 in the morning tomorrow. By the way,
there you go. You got a $250,000. Mind though, you could have put yourself in the free agency. So it's amazing what some of the free agency. Once it gets to the 5th round, I think these teams are, these guys should be saying it's great to be drafted, but if you don't get drafted, you got a chance of getting more money.
And you pick where you want to go.
Exactly. You pick where you want to go.
I'm sure you're fielding 5, 6, 7, 8 phone calls. Oh, okay, New York, Seattle, blah, blah, blah. Pick,
It must be like Trading Places. The movie when the phones are going, sell, buy, and they're all calling, let's call every free agent in town. So we got, how many Canes were picked up in free agency? Obviously, Xavier.
There's quite a few. Jacoby George, I know he found his landing spot too, as you mentioned. That was with the Panthers, correct? Yeah.
Panthers scored? Is that what happened?
Panthers. And then I know CJ Clark got an opportunity. Who else out there, actually? Hold on. I believe Sam Brown got a contract too.
Yeah, I think so.
At the post. Sam Brown, yeah. So hopefully we'll see more Canes. Anyone, any idea how many Hurricanes are in the NFL right now? Anybody know?
Oh, and actually, you know what? My biggest surprise, Simeon Barrow going drafted. There has to be something off field.
Something behind the scenes.
Because he got snubbed to go to the Senior Bowl. Had a really good year at Miami, all ACC, and he was all Big Ten when he was at Michigan State. Didn't get invited to the Combine either, which shocked many people. Then tore it up at his pro day, ran under 5 seconds in the 40 as a defensive tackle, which is really impressive. His bench press would have been the most for any defensive lineman at the Combine this year. And then still didn't get drafted, had production. There has to be something else going on there because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense at all.
No, it doesn't. There's something there. Hopefully he's one of those guys that proves everybody wrong. Like we said about Shador. 9054 Kane, got to assume Penn State is getting the UNC linebacker transfer, which will help Miami land. Is it pronounced Torrey? Am I pronouncing it right? Torrey. Is that the case, Gio?
Yeah, something along those lines. I know Penn State would like to get both, but that's not a very realistic, I guess you should say, opportunity to land both.
Was that a goal, Brett?
No, it's empty net now. 2 minutes to go. Poke Kane, I'll feel a lot better if the Panthers win this game. Winning is sales, which is important too. Let's see. Who else do we got asking questions? Oh, we got a lot of questions popped in. Where's the next one? Gio, what's the next question you got there?
There's Dogo Daddy asking about Calvin Russell. That's the 5-star, 6'5", 6'6" wide receiver from Miami Northwestern. Miami's going after him. Syracuse, Florida State. I know LSU's also in the mix there. Oregon, just about every program you could think of. I know everyone's obviously concerned about a lot of the buzz around Syracuse over the past few months and whatnot. I just want to say to people, just relax. It's May right now. There's a long way till December. Yes, he does have a commitment date for his birthday, July 5th. My birthday, actually, too.
Hey.
Enough. So I ironically there. He will be taking his official visit to Miami. Just let things play out. I think to freak out right now and act like the sky is falling with so much time left on the clock it's just pointless.
Absolutely. I think Cliff was trying to get in. I don't know if Bobby was. Let me just tell him real quick. Wasn't he out there for a minute?
He was.
A brief minute. It was a brief minute.
A brief minute. We got to Cliff. I'm in and out. So 1 minute to go in the Panther game. Brett's going to be upset.
Is it still 4-3? Is it 4-3?
4-3. 50 seconds left. Panthers in front of the net. Panthers. Who's that? Anton Lundell. We missed hit. It's an empty net. We had a guy just choke on it. Uh-oh. All right.
We need some Winnipeg. We need some Winnipeg magic is what we need.
We need definitely Winnipeg. And I had the St. Louis Blues. I told you I had them to play the Panthers in the championship, and I had them to win the championship. I was loaded on the St. Louis Blues, and it just didn't happen.
A lot of people had the Panthers big in this series, so if they go down 0-2, that's pretty interesting.
Exactly. And the Panthers have taken 70 shots not 70 shots, just 70 shot attempts. Only 29 of them have been on net. And Toronto was like 30. And they're playing with their backup goalie.
They got the revenge factor going too.
The revenge factor. Yeah, last year they were we want Florida. We want Florida. Who else we got here for questions? Let's see. Pokane. Calvin Russell, we just got. I'm a Titans fan now, Pokane. I agree. A lot of people are Titans fans. I am definitely for the Titans, unless they play the Dolphins, but definitely want the Titans to win. 150-1. Cam Ward to get the MVP. 100-1 to win the conference for Tennessee. In case anybody's scoring at home.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that he didn't go to the Giants or something because I didn't want to see him twice a year with the Eagles. I feel bad for you, Cam, but
Exactly. Juan Manuel, where does Bruno, Juan the Door, Mignon? You answer that one, Gio. I can't see.
Where does Bruno, Tommy Bruno Kinsler, Juan the Door Minaya, Jaden Wilkerson stand on potential for 2026 for offensive linemen on the team? They're actually really excited about both Kinsler and Minaya. Kinsler actually really pushing for like playing time. He may not start this year because you have Francis and Markel Bell as your bookend guys, but Kinsler has progressed a lot. They're really excited about him. They think he has NFL potential behind those guys. So, next year will be his time, but he may be that swing guy this year that he, like your sixth man on the offensive line. He could very much be that guy this year. And in terms of Juan Minaya, they're actually really excited about his progress from last year. He's really starting to step up at guard. Got a little nicked up near the end of spring football camp, but should be fine and good to go by the time fall rolls around. And then Jaden Wilkerson still needs some work and whatnot, but I would say, at least from what I saw and speaking to some people about him, though, a little more advanced than people were expecting. A lot of people were thinking like a project type of offensive lineman. He's much bigger than anticipated since he's arrived at Miami, so that definitely helps. And he also asked here, is there a chance we can get a few of the running backs and wide receivers for the Fighting Leprechauns drunk for that son? I don't know.
Let's see. Who's asking? Are we getting another? Did you answer that one from Pokane? Are we getting another DT?
I haven't answered that one yet. So
pretty much set. Pokane is good either way, so we just know we're good for that. Good.
Yeah. So Pokane asks here, Gio, are we getting another defensive tackle, or is the staff pretty much set with what we have? I'm good either way. Yeah. So the guy that they really wanted was the USF guy, Bernard Gooden. He ended up going to LSU. Miami had a visit planned. LSU shut it down while he was on his visit there. They had some interest in the Florida kid as well. DeAndre Robinson is kind of like a backup guy. That didn't really materialize there. They brought in Braxton Feely from Boise State for a visit. He actually was much smaller than they were expecting when he arrived on their visit. I want people to understand something, that not always when they bring in these guys for visits on campus does it mean they are particularly going to take them. Sometimes they're sizing these guys up like their own little mini combine, like medical evaluation. They have some of these guys work out for them while they're on campus and everything. They like to basically dot every I and cross every T when these guys get here to make sure that everything checks out. So they ended up passing on Braxton Feely. But the other guy that they did reach out to recently was the Arkansas State defensive tackle, Jaquan McGinney, who played the last 2 years in community college, just finished up at Hutchinson Community College in Kansas, transferred to Arkansas State in the winter, now left Arkansas State. A couple other programs looking there, but I don't think that's a direction that Miami's necessarily going to go in. I know they're happy with what they got. They don't feel like there's anything in the portal right now that would necessarily be an upgrade from what they have behind their top three. I've been on record saying this, that yes, there's a drop off after their top three guys. Your Justin Scott, Ahmad Moten, David Blay. After that, you kind of got a mix of some young guys trying to step up. Dante Simpson had a really good spring for a freshman, way ahead of the curve. They're hoping Artavius Jones takes another step forward. You also factor in some guys like Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, Armando Blunt, Cole McConaughey. Those four guys can all shift inside in certain situations and packages if needed. I know it may not be the most ideal situation for fans. They would hope that Miami could have added another impact guy at defensive tackle. But if you ask me, broad perspective of what entered the portal in the spring, it was not what Miami needed at defensive tackle. Yeah, Bernard Gooden's a really good pass rusher, and even Braxton Feely is too. But Miami more so needs a run stopper, bigger guy that can play some nose tackle as well, free up some of the blockers so linebackers can actually shoot the gaps. I don't think they have a pass rushing issue there. I think they need more so just a guy that could plug up the middle and create opportunities for linebackers. So I think it's very key that Miami lands Mohamed Toure from Rutgers, the linebacker. I think he would help out that defense a lot.
Oh, we will be definitely rooting for that. That's for sure. IMAX says facts. Juan Manuel, good point. Restrepo's 4.8. Turbo Speed made the Titans think free agent. Mika Parson right there. Lawrence Taylor, Russ Morgan. I guess that's the comment would be from before. Phil Sims also said no. Okay, I did think I saw. So Phil Sims again said no. I wonder. Phil Sims said no for who? Who's for Jackson Dart probably?
Oh no, that was regarding Abdul Carter.
Okay, so he wanted one of those two numbers. He wanted. Okay, I remember when Phil Sims was drafted out of Morehead State, and Giant fans were like, "Who?" Technically, Moon was not with the Oilers. It was with the Oilers, not the Titans. Exactly, Pope Kane. Good point. Abdul, number 56, and stop. Number 11, Phil Sims. Abdul, prove yourself first. Excellent.
Yeah, point. I mean, you're talking about a guy that's probably the greatest defensive player of all time.
Exactly.
Not exactly. Come on now, give me a break.
So Mel Kiper has a man crush on Shedeur Sanders. Mel Kiper even did his hair extra nice for draft day. Zero dandruff. Good point, Manuel.
It was funny this week as they asked LT. I'm sorry, Brett. Real quick, they asked LT how was his draft day. He was. I think I saw it a few days ago. He's like, I have no idea. I had about 41 Bud Lights that day.
That's right.
Yeah, it was classic. Not to mention what he did in the pros, but I won't even go there. It's a family show.
Exactly. The 41, that was funny. Gio, you're about to get, okay, I don't know what that is. You're about to get canceled. It must be an inside joke there with Pope Kane. Smash that like button. Thank you, Jacoby. Let's smash that like button, FTSN. Juan Manuel, Giants are all business. May not be the smartest, but all business. All right. And the Giants are going to improve a lot this year. Juan Manuel Shabor said, what are you going to do? Surround me with the best support system around me to a team dictating to teams. Anyone get that one? Did I read it wrong?
You did it.
All right. Will Heatherman, here you go, Gio, question. Will Heatherman use three safeties a lot? Could Cam Pruitt be a nickel in that package? If you're going to play three safeties, can Pruitt be a hybrid safety linebacker?
Yeah, well, Cam Pruitt played some safety coming out of Theodore, Alabama. Plays much more linebacker now. can play some nickel as well too if needed, but I don't think necessarily that's where he'll be used. He'll be more so like a weak side linebacker. Still needs to continue putting on size, but out of any of the linebackers in the room throughout spring, he was the one that flashed the most playmaking ability in terms of like being able to drop back into coverage and what he can do in terms of run fit as well. Obviously size, you want him to continue getting bigger. That's the main selling point there. But in terms of with Corey Heatherman and his defense, yes, he likes to employ a lot of 3 safety looks on the field, sometimes even using a safety as a sort of pseudo big nickel, which is why you saw Miami go after guys like AJ Halsey and Keontae Scott, and they just landed Keontae Scott from Auburn, who was a all-SEC performer as a nickel defensive back. His first 2 years with Auburn was a JUCO All-American before he arrived with the Tigers. Last season, his defensive back coach, Zach Etheridge, who's now Miami's cornerback coach, had left Auburn to go to Houston. Keontae Scott was moved outside to play cornerback on the boundary. Didn't exactly work out, had an ankle injury last year. Now he arrives at Miami. He's going to be playing back in the position that he's comfortable with. All SEC guy at nickel when he played that spot. All SEC as a punt returner, actually was top 10 in the nation in terms of punt return average during the 2023 season, and number 1 in the SEC as well that year. He was all conference at 2 different positions, return man and defensive back. So a lot of upside there. You can expect to see him playing nickel. I know Charles Brantley, who they brought in from Michigan State, will still play some nickel too. He'll play some outside as well on the boundary, which he did a lot of at Michigan State, surprisingly considering his size, but he's actually a little more comfortable there. In terms of the other safety spots, obviously Zachariah Poyser, and then I think you might see some form of a committee between guys like Jacoby Thomas, Markeith Williams, even Keontae Scott can play some safety as well, if need be. Dylan Day. I know they're really excited, though. Speaking of someone internally from the program, they're really excited about Jacoby Thomas, who they got from Tennessee just this past week. 6'2", 205, 210 pounds. Kind of fits the bill of the mold of physicality that they want back there at safety. Guys that are 6'1", 6'2 plus, actually have size and range. I have my question marks about him at like how's he going to be in coverage, but in terms of like a tone setter, he definitely has that. He can knock guys out on the field. So we'll see. But yes, likes to employ a lot of 3 safety looks. I just don't think that's necessarily what they're going to do with Cam Pruitt, though.
All right. Did everybody get that? There will be a test later. Mondo, you know that. It's not going to be multiple choice either. I want an essay form.
So all I know is we hate LSU right now. That's what I got from all that.
There you go. Okay. What about Gregory Smith? I see that, and then someone came up about something else with Gregory Smith. What about Gregory Smith?
I want to ask Gio right quick. So do you, obviously on the roster right now or incoming this year, next year, do we have, or when do you see that dominant Will Fork or defensive tackle that I've been wanting for so long, like Russell Maryland, Will Fork? When are we going to get that? Like with the ball snapped, he's back there. Like
I think
when are we going to have that?
Based off what I saw from spring and what I was told coming out of the private sessions as well, and kind of the general feeling from Miami's side of things, they anticipate Justin Scott to become a real guy this year. Okay. Potentially could be like a national name. We'll see when the season arrives. A lot of guys show up and show out on Green Tree, and then you get to game day and they kind of choke up. So we'll see if it translates. But so far, so good, though. And what I saw in spring as well, he is on that trajectory. And you would hope so because he was a 5-star defensive tackle. He was
absolutely
one of the top players in the country coming out. So, yeah.
All right. Mondo, any other questions? You're allowed. You're on the board.
I get as many as no. I wanted to hit him up on the defensive tackle, but that's the one position
Right,
I feel
we
that
can have it. We were defensive tackle. All the great Hall of Famers. I mean, we've had, I don't know about Hall of, but Jerome Brown, obviously, Cortez Kennedy, Russell Maryland. These guys were Canes Hall of Famers, and but all pros all the time. We had the most awesome run stoppers, and every linebacker I've ever spoke to said that played for the U that was great. Said it all happened because the guys up front, the best friends of those guys,
front,
like the
absolutely.
offensive line are the best friends of the running backs and the quarterback. The defensive linemen, especially the defensive tackles, are the guys that protect the middle linebacker.
Sure.
So those are the guys. You can't have one without the other in a lot of cases. Let's see. Hype us on baseball. Who's better than us? Nobody. Canes Cats Heat 305. We spoke about that earlier. What, 26th we said now in baseball? Correct, Gio? 26th?
Yeah, as high as 26 in the RPIs, and based on different websites and whatnot throughout the day. This is before winning over FIU tonight, 10-6. But 6-game win streak. Miami's won 3 straight ACC series. Got UVA and Notre Dame to close out your ACC slate. So, again, they're trending at the right time. Like you said, Brett, it's not how you start, it's how you finish.
And it's just amazing what JD has done. Everybody wanted his job. He's going to get another year, obviously, because of what.
At this point, but considering what he's done with the team,
amazing. That's what coaching is. It's anyone can take a team that's well established and just run the table. I mean, not that it's so easy to win it, but to turn a team around is phenomenal. There's nothing more difficult for a coach.
I thought it was as bleak as it could be for him in the baseball program when they got run ruled by Florida State.
That's right. That was the low point. It's like that was the low point. It looked like it was over. The whole team was ready to just come off the field. When you're run ruled, it's like Little League, unfortunately,
Yeah.
I mean, wow, what a turnaround. And hopefully this will be the beginning of something great. Good evening, 305 Sports. Thanks for joining us. Eddie, thanks for joining us. Eddie Delva, good evening. I hope all is well. Just wanted your position with getting Jackson Cantwell and flipping Kenny Pepe. Kenny Pepe? Thank you, gentlemen. Hands.
Yeah, he's Samoan offensive lineman at IMG.
Okay, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, in terms of Cantwell, I think everyone knows this pretty well now that I've had a pick in for Miami for a little while now. Obviously want to see how the visit plays out this weekend to Georgia. I mentioned earlier on Comics on Canes with Michael Yo, I think we recorded, it was about like 1:30 in the afternoon today. Came out around 4 or 5, but at 3 on 3 reported what I said on Michael's podcast, actually, that I shared that Miami has the most lucrative deal on the table for Jackson Cantwell. Actually, by quite a distance. Actually, no team has really matched up to that point. Again, it's going to come down to, does he value the compensation factor and also the coaching factor too? Because it's not only just about the money. It's also about Mario Cristobal and Alex Mirabal have actually developed offensive linemen very well and have a very real track record too. And Cantwell and his family know that as well. There's some connections even to the track and field director at Miami with Amy Deem as well. Georgia is going to make a very hard push this weekend. Oregon is fading away in this recruitment. I know some people get worried with Oregon because the endless money with Phil Knight and Nike. Again, at the end of the day, I think Miami's done everything possible that they can to win over Jackson Cantwell. So if it does not turn out that way, if Miami does not land him on the 13th, I don't think any Miami fan can be upset that it didn't happen. They did everything possible. But again, my pick has been in for Miami. I haven't moved off of it. I'll get another read on it on Saturday morning, and we'll go from there.
If he doesn't pick Miami, I'm sure the chats will take it just peachy, huh, Gio?
Oh yeah, Yeah, well, people didn't take it so well when Kenai Pape committed to USC over the past week. And actually some background on that. His brother's on the team with the Trojans, and he also has family on the staff over there too. So sometimes relationships win as well.
Sure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, definitely people want to be around people they know. Tough loss for the Cats tonight, 305 Sports. Exactly. Tough loss.
Yeah.
Outshot them, did everything right. It's 2-0, but Panthers can come back, no problem. Let's see. Gio, what do they say about our linebacker development? If this guy, Teray, would be our best linebacker on the roster if he comes?
I think it says a lot in terms of previous coaches at that spot that they truly haven't gotten the most out of their guys. I know Kiko Mauigoa, his first year at Miami was really good. I mean, he had 17 tackles for loss. That was the most for a Miami linebacker in over 20 years. That was a record set. But I agree in the essence that the development hasn't been great at that position. Maybe you could point to position coaches that have been there, maybe the defensive coordinators that have been involved as well, how the linebackers are being used. I know not many people in terms of like former players that I've talked to as well that watched the games last year, they weren't too happy with how Kiko was being used. They wasn't playing downhill, was being dropped into coverage. Some of that, maybe could be attributed to what was happening with the defensive backs, but still, you always want to try to play to your players' strengths. I don't think the development has been that great at linebacker. But then again, you got guys like Cameron Bobby Pruitt who have really stepped up. Raul Popo Aguirre had a really good spring. You hope that Wesley Toussaint could become what people have expected him to be. He's had a lot of flash moments, but hasn't necessarily put it all together yet. I just think, at least for the sake of that room and wanting to raise the floor to an acceptable level, you have to bring in guys like Kamal Bonner from NC State, who have multiple years of eligibility and real experience. You have to bring in a veteran leader like Mohamed Touré. When a guy like that is out there on the market, I don't think you could ignore that when the development hasn't been so great on the current team with linebackers. I'm just keeping it honest and frank. I don't think the development has been great with linebackers.
Hopefully they'll improve. You have anything to add to that, Mondo?
No, I think Gio nailed it. But
all right. Why is there so much
for
Miami hate? Hassan, thanks for joining the show. Why is there so much Miami hate? On 3, Pete Nakos mentioned Miami NL offering the $2 million for Cantwell. They always mention Miami, but they never mention Texas, who, by the way, I think has like a $40 million salary cap right now. Texas, Oregon, Ohio State, and Georgia. Why do they hate Miami? Well, pretty much they've always hated Miami. We're outsiders looking in, but any other reasons why they hate Miami?
You guys saw that quote? Was it the Indiana coach? I believe it was.
What did he say?
That he said that 6 programs, including Miami, had, what did he say? It's like a $30-40 million roster or something like that. Texas Tech, Miami. Like, he went off. It was like, was it Georgia, Ohio State? Like 6 schools, including Miami, that it's not right that they're operating on a $40 million roster. Or
there's no way Miami spends like Ohio State or Texas.
He mentioned Miami.
It's not even close.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know the specifics, but I'll bet anything. But they always pick out Miami. You
know what's funny about that, about Kurt Cignetti? And the comment he made, Miami is a privately owned institution. They don't have to reveal anything in terms of what they are compensating. So again, it's just hearsay from him, whatever he's hearing or whatever. It's funny.
It's a funny quote,
at the same time.
Everybody hates on what was Texas? 45?
Yeah, but he threw Texas Tech in there, if I'm not mistaken.
Texas Tech.
Yeah, Texas Tech has been really big spenders in the transfer portal this year.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I saw them and I was like, huh?
It's that oil money.
Yeah, of course. Absolutely.
I don't know where the money's coming from here. I don't. the Canes connection thing is I don't know how much we've given. Let's see. Why did we recruit all those DBs? If we were still looking for more DBs, we could have taken the kid from Northwestern instead and grow with him.
That is a comment I won't agree with. I know some people are upset that Miami basically they didn't go to overspend on Jabari Flowers from Northwestern. I think also what came into play there too, I shouldn't say I think, I know. He also reclassified really late, really late in the game. Most of the time when guys reclassify, you're talking about like the spring or summer before signing day. He ended up reclassifying basically after January, after teams fill up their spots. And the reality is this. Number one, you don't want to overspend on someone who is not going to impact your team this year. He was not. Mm-hmm. He was going to be a special teams player this year for Miami. Number two, he's not a big nickel. That's not what Corey Heatherman wants in his defense. Yeah, you could have a coverage guy at nickel, but he's not going to take multiple of those guys. Number three, Florida paid a really big premium for a guy that's not going to play right away for them either. Mm-hmm. In terms of the whole broad scope of things with the defensive backs and all the guys that they took, they had to because that room, both rooms, the cornerbacks and safeties, was an entire mess a year ago. You had guys that were basically unplayable that you were playing last year. And again, I think you see it reflecting with how many guys they took from Xavier Lucas. And obviously it's great having OJ Frederick coming back. Everyone knows that Damari Brown and the type of potential he has as long as he's healthy. Bringing in a guy like Ethan O'Connor, who started a lot of games for Washington State and has plenty of years of eligibility too. Charles Brantley, who was an all Big Ten guy, lowest passer rating allowed in the Big Ten as well. Keontae Scott, all SEC performer, bringing in a freshman All-American at safety in Zachariah Poyser, and then Jacoby Thomas, who has plenty of potential himself. I think you have to, because that secondary, like everyone wants to hound on the defensive line play, the pass rush, and the linebackers last year, and this and that. Teams towards the back half of the season, because I see a lot of criticism towards guys like Ruben Bain when he had an injury last year. Mm-hmm. We're saying, oh, well, he wasn't Bain. Bain wasn't Bain or whatever. Yeah, well, one, he came off an injury. Number two, by the time he came back, teams figured out Miami on defense. Yep. They quick 3-step drops, think and dunk. No pass rush is getting home when your defensive backs are –
exactly.
I'm sorry. When your defensive backs are just sad. It's the worst Miami secondary I've seen. And I've seen secondaries that had guys like Casey Rogers and excuse my French here, but I love Alonzo Highsmith, but AJ Highsmith wasn't great on the field for Miami either as a safety when he was here. People catch my drift here, though, that I've seen bad Miami secondaries before, but last year was abysmal. You're talking about a championship level caliber offense and a secondary that is playing under 500 basically. And I know people get on top of the defensive line last year, but I don't think the weight of it all falls on them. People are like, oh, well, the pass rush is better. The pass rush can't be better if the other team is dinking and dunking. You're not going to home.
Yeah, and it wasn't only the Syracuse game at the end last year. I was at the Duke game here at Hard Rock. They made Duke look like, I mean, like Air Coryell, old school Chargers passing 500 yards a game or something. So, yeah, it was a pretty diabolical secondary to say the least last year.
Absolutely. A few more questions. 305 Sports now said Ohio State definitely spends more on NIL than Miami. No doubt about that.
How many people they have drafted? Jesus Christ. They have like 40 guys drafted or something.
It was over 11 guys they had drafted.
Did they? Wow. 305 Sports, Signetti is a rat. There you go. That's basically
305 Sports, my boy.
Can we print that shirt? Tim, we got too many linebackers in the roster as it is. I think we're needing.
I don't think so. When you got a couple guys that are out right now too. I mean, not guys that were going to play a lot this year, but
we need stars. We need stars like the old days.
I'm so anxious. I'm so anxious to see this defense play this season. I mean, I'm really am.
Yeah. Who's the starring Juan Manuel? Who is starring 11 for Miami on defense? The starting 11, I guess that is versus Notre Dame. Kurt of Indiana has Miami. Okay, Kurt of Indiana has Miami MB. Do we have a starting 11? Is that what he's asking?
Who do I project to be?
Yeah, you project the starting 11 yet?
Well, yeah, but I think what gets lost in translation when if I put out like a starting 11, there's guys that may not start the game that are going to play a lot too, like Marquise Lightfoot, Armando Blunt. Those guys are going to really factor in this year. Even if like Damari Brown doesn't start, he's still going to play quite a bit because they're going to have some rotation at corner, or even Ethan O'Connor as well. But I'll give a starting 11 just for the sake of the question, though. Ruben Bain, Akeem Mesidor, defensive end. Your defensive tackles, Justin Scott, and it's kind of a tough one between Ahmad Moten and David Blay. I'll go Ahmad Moten. Linebacker, I'll say I think the competition will help elevate Wesley Bassint. I think he'll be one of your starting linebackers. I think especially on his final year, a money year, I don't think he's a guy that's going to fall back to competition. I think it's just going to elevate him. That's just my prediction. And your other one, he's not on the team yet, but I really like where Miami stands for Mohamed Touré. I could see him starting, but there's going to be guys behind those guys that are going to play a lot of real snaps, like Popo, Kamal Bonner, Pruitt. Those guys are going to play a lot of snaps. Your cornerbacks, I'll say Xavier Lucas and O.J. Frederique. Your nickel, Keontae Scott. Your safeties, Zachariah Poyser and Jacoby Thomas.
That's pretty amazing. He did not even look at any paper, Mondo. He just reeled them off. I mean, before we go any further, only a few minutes left of the show. We'll get to the rest of the questions. Some people have been saying thank you for answering the questions. That's the great thing about the CanesWear Podcast. Mondo and Gio will answer all your questions. That's the great thing about it. We do answer your questions here. And this program is sponsored by CanesWear, the spot, South Florida and Miami fan shop. And everything you see in the background, we have in the store. This is the store. We got the starter jackets. We got the Barkov. We got the Kachuk jerseys. We got the Sean Taylor 2001 jersey from Mitchell & Ness, the Ed Reed one. They're awesome. We've been selling them, but we still got a few left. Lots of new things as well. Today and tomorrow, online or in the store, we have 33% off women's apparel for the Hurricanes, Dolphins, Heat, Inter Miami, including Messi jerseys and Marlins. You can get women's sneakers for today and tomorrow for Mother's Day. And we've got something going on also Saturday and Sunday, including a sidewalk sale Saturday. So if you live in the neighborhood, it's going to be really exciting. Come on by. We're going to have lots of things for Saturday in store. We're also going to do a promotion over the weekend as well. And that's CanesWear, the spot, South Florida fan shop. And where is that, Gio?
At 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida, right next to Las Patas Hoagies.
All right. We don't even charge the spotters for that. Juan Manuel, Cocaine Cowboys do not contribute to the Miami NIL program. Well, I hope not. I'm just okay. Canes Cat's Head. Heat. I'm just confused on why we took Brantley and the Arizona kid if we knew they weren't good from the jump. I don't like at all what we do in the portal. So Canes Cats Heat. We're gonna have to have Mario on next week to see and make sure he knows that if we can. Okay.
I could answer that very quickly about his question there, though. I don't think there's anything wrong with getting a nickel corner or a guy that Brantley has mostly played a lot of boundary, but they tried to see if there's a fit there for nickel. He can play the nickel, but it's just mostly I know that in Heatherman's defense, he likes to have a big nickel too, technically a third safety on the field. Kind of play like a pseudo linebacker or be able to drop back into coverage too. Guy that could play multiple fits on defense. You still need one of those cover guys as well. Brantley will still factor in. It's not like he had a bad spring. He actually had a really good spring. But I get it from a schematic standpoint. In terms of Carnley, though, I'll agree with you there, Canes Cats Heat. Fun funny enough, I'll share this. The player personnel guy at Arizona who used to be at Miami was even stumped that Miami even took Emmanuel Carnley. He was really surprised by that. But again, you only had him here for the spring. It's basically like a camp tryout, if you will. And, it didn't really work out for him here, and he just looked for another opportunity somewhere else.
Awesome. You got all that, Mondo?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Does Miami have a top 15 roster in the country? New King God, welcome to the show. He also asked, how do we match up against Notre Dame after all the portal additions? Double question from New King God. Not to be confused with Selfie God.
Yeah. A top 15 roster, I believe so, in terms of like talent on paper. Now, you finish top 15, that's a whole other question, because I've seen talented teams on paper before just completely fall flat. It's, a lot boils down to coaching and fit, and do you have leaders and veterans on your team? In terms of his question about how Miami matches up with Notre Dame, run the ball.
Exactly.
Run the ball, establish the run. I know Notre Dame I know they have some concerns at quarterback. I know CJ Carr, who I watched play coming out of high school. He also played for California Power 7-on-7 team as well, who DJ Pickett also played for, who I know Miami fans know very well. I think CJ Carr is a really talented quarterback, but then again, he's going to be coming into his first collegiate start, and that's a really tough environment to go into. I'm sure everyone remembers 2017 Hard Rock Stadium against Notre Dame. I'm sure opening weekend at Hard Rock in Miami is going to be electric. So that's going to be quite the environment for a quarterback to make his very first start. Not ideal. But Notre Dame has got a good run game. They have some good defensive backs as well. They lost some defensive linemen. They lost their defensive coordinator as well, and Al Golden. He almost had a homecoming back to Hard Rock. So I like how Miami matches up, though. I think mostly because of the quarterback situation, I could see Miami walking out of that game with a win.
Sure. Absolutely.
Absolutely. I feel good about that game. Hassan, Miami needs to land Cantwell. It seems like we always come up short with these type players. We spoke about Cantwell already. We need to land him. What is our feeling? What percentage do you think we're gonna land him? 20%, 40, 60, 80?
I won't put a percentage on it, but I don't do percentages, but my pick has been on Miami for a while.
Okay, well there you go. Let's see. Canes Cats. John Jay's dad is at every baseball game, and the Cowboys are donating to our NIL. Let's see. You guys are doing an outstanding job. I love the show. Hope you guys do it more. Juan Manuel, thank you so much. We'll see what we can do. But thank you for the compliments. New King God, can you name the worst projected starter on offense and defense for us? Well, we don't like to knock any players, but so we're giving the guy, you're a starter, but you suck. I want to see how high the floor has been rising.
Well, I think saying worst may be viewed negatively. So
yeah, exactly. We don't want to. This is the numbers, though. If you can read between the lines, this is it.
We don't want Gio to get any angry looks next to the media.
I know we don't need any angry. We definitely don't want Gio to be yanked from the show and canceled all of a sudden.
Well, I guess I'll rephrase it like this. That question, I guess maybe a player that may not excite people, but I could see starting in the first game. Even though I think Tony Johnson was pretty good for Cincinnati last year, the slot receiver they just brought in. He led them in touchdowns with 6 in their passing game last year. But Brennan Sorsby, who really talented quarterback himself over there. But Tony Johnson might be the least exciting guy to fans that I could see starting week 1, mostly because of the experience factor. I know people are really excited about Malachi Toney, but I envision that Miami will ease in Malachi Toney into becoming a guy. Juan Manuel actually said Burt Auburn. Yeah, I'm sure some people are not excited about Burt Auburn, the new kicker that came in from Texas. Had a down year last year. The end of the season didn't really end well for him at Texas. I will say, though, that kickers do go through rough patches. We've all seen it in the NFL and college football. I will also say, though, that his 2023 and 2022 seasons were really good. If you take a look by the numbers and what he was able to hit, if he can get back to that form, and kickers are capable of it, they can get back to form. I think Miami's got a pretty good kicker on their hands. Do I think he's on Andy Borregales? No, but I still think he's a pretty good college kicker when his mental state is right. Defensively, I guess the least exciting starter to people would possibly be maybe Jacoby Thomas, but I don't know. It's a tough question.
Well, we hope that every Cane that starts and backs up obviously performs better than we expect. And you just never know what you're going to get. A lot of times you think someone's going to be great and he's not. You think someone's going to be not so good and they are. So it's hopefully the coaching improves this year on the defensive side of the ball, which will be key. The game time decisions are better. We're not scrambling for tight ends or what do we do on 4th and 1? Do we take a field goal? Do we punt the ball? Do we go for it? Do we all go out for Gatorade? So just got to have, the coaching's got to be consistent. A couple of people we haven't talked about. We haven't talked about Beck. I heard he is starting to throw. Have you heard anything about that?
Yeah, he's progressing well. I know some people would hope that, maybe he's throwing deep shots already. It's still part of the rehab process. Everything day by day, but he is throwing, though.
I think it's going to be great. I really think I'm really excited about the kid. He seems to have all the confidence in the world. I like what he said today. I think it was him that talked about doesn't matter. He doesn't care about individual accolades. It's just about winning. Like Tom Brady, just win. And if he's really that way, hopefully all this nonsense and gossip with his ex-girlfriend is helping him and the team come together. But I'm really excited about Beck. People think, I know Cam Ward is the greatest we've ever had. He was #1 draft pick. But if Beck has a good season, he can definitely be a top 10 quarterback picked as well. Top 10 player picked in the draft. And
they were talking last year about him going in that range.
Exactly. Yeah, they were talking about Quinn Ewers at one time was higher rated to go in first in the draft ahead of Cam. So, and look where he slipped. Here's something interesting. Cam, he could have probably got $2 to $3 million in the NIL portal. Ewers. I didn't think it was that good, by the way. He may be watching the show since he's local now, but but now he's going to get what, $800,000 on the Dolphins, but he could have got millions of dollars. So. There's a really interesting dynamic of why go to the pros for these kids. Just
it's unheard of. It's unheard of.
Sometimes it's. I'll explain this from the mental aspect. I know this from speaking to some former players. Sometimes there's that pressure of wanting to go 3 and out, wanting to get to the league as fast as possible. Mm-hmm. I look back to guys like Santana Moss, Reggie Wayne, Dan Morgan. Those guys stayed all 4 years, and it benefited them a lot.
Mm-hmm. Ed Reed, he stayed. He was going to go. He stayed. These guys that stayed, it definitely benefited them, especially the quarterback position. Now, I know a few years ago, the USC quarterback, I forgot, it was the guy after he stayed an extra year and then he wasn't picked, and they blamed it on the fact that he stayed the extra year. He obviously didn't have a good year. But in those days, you weren't being paid. Now, if you can be paid $2 to $3 million and you're not going to be a first or second rounder, I don't even think second rounders get $3 million, do they?
No, I don't think so.
No, not for me, no.
I mean, so what's the point? You're the king of the campus. You have a great time. We see how these guys in the NFL now are just they've thrown into the action. You see all these quarterbacks like Darnold and the Dolphin quarterback right now that came on from the Jets. They just don't make it right away. So I think you're going to see a lot of these quarterbacks stay 5 years from now on.
Yeah.
It's stupid not to, which is going to be difficult, I think, for all the kids that are coming in.
Difficult for the kids coming in, but I think more favorable for the programs.
Yes, and it seems like everyone's going to have a new quarterback almost every year.
Yeah, and as far as your point, as far as quarterback, if you can stay in college and make that much, some are going to stay. Because to your point about the pros, even the backup of the Dolphins, Wilson, the one that was with the Jets.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, when you think about 32 NFL teams, how many truly alpha elite QB1s are there? Like 12, 10, maybe? Like, it's extremely difficult to go without saying when you're facing a defense with guys that run 4.2, 4.3 across the board. It's not – they're coming to rip your head off. Like, defensive linemen weigh 340, and they're running 4.5s, and they're coming for you. Like, it's not that easy.
The best.
You know.
Can you imagine you got like NFL 2 seconds, a second to figure out what you're going to do?
Yeah, that's why I trip out when I hear
the most difficult position in all of sports, I think.
You hear people talk about an NFL quarterback or NFL player or any sport for that matter, a pro, a professional. Oh, that guy sucks. Mm-hmm. What?
Exactly.
That guy sucks. He's got 4 seconds to get rid of the ball, and he's got freaking Micah Parsons coming after him. Are you kidding me?
Exactly.
You know?
Canes Cat Heat, Matt Barkley. Thank you. He called it. I put it in my head. I couldn't think of the name.
I remember Matt
Charles Barkley.
But you know what my counterpoint is,
right?
You know what my counterpoint is to Matt Barkley and
Matt Barkley. There you go.
The whole story of him like wanting to come back and then his draft stock dropped massively. I look at it like this: if you're good enough, you'll make it. Or you'll perform. And Matt Barkley never had
He was not good enough. You're right.
He wasn't good enough.
Line art wasn't good enough.
Nope.
You know, if you have the team around you, those USC teams are great. I mean, Ken Dorsey, great guy, offense coordinator, everything. Hurricane. We all love him, but he obviously was not the guy to lead an NFL program. He was put in the right spot at the right time, and he was a great leader. A lot of guys may not have been able to be that kind of leader. You need to lead the team.
Look at Jared Zabransky from Boise State. The guy who did the Statue of Liberty play.
Oh,
that was amazing, that play.
Both guys were tremendous college players, but they didn't make it in the league.
You see it all the time, correct.
Nope.
Juan Manuel, can we trade and send coaches to the transfer portal? Well, I guess coaches have always been allowed to be in the transfer portal, which is really what the problem is now that they're saying, coaches leave, why can't the players leave every year? Hopefully we'll see contracts eventually. Tommy Streeter, exactly. I thought he was going to be great. He was part of the Northwestern group, wasn't he? With the number one class.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Even the butt fumble Sanchez wasn't good enough. That's another USC quarterback, right? Amazing. He got 2 AFC championships in a row.
Yeah.
So
great.
We got a lot of questions, a lot of comments. What do you guys got,
Ryan, right?
What's that?
That was with Rex Ryan, right?
Yeah.
So
they had 2 years.
Great defense, great running game. Yeah.
Yeah, they had some good teams there, and they only got to the AFC Championship twice. Yeah. I don't even know what year that was. For some reason, I phase out, but Rex Ryan was the guy. All right, we probably had like 60, 70, 80, 90, 5,000 comments today, Mondo. Don't you think so?
You say 25,000?
I think it was 100,000. I mean, 100,000, and we're glad we can answer them all. I think we've definitely set some kind of record today. I'm going on record that we set the record.
I think Juan Manuel had about 4,100 of them.
Juan Manuel, 4,100. Thank you. And the next program, please, let's have the Guinness people here so they can go ahead and take note of this, okay? On the CanesWear Podcast, we're here to inform. We're here to do some comedy and have some fun and have a good time. And thank you for all the compliments. Thank you for saying we should be here more than once a week. I know Mondo wants to put it in the schedule to be here 5 days a week. But Mondo's like a 4-second delay. So I say it and I say, okay, let me wind up for his laugh. We're going to be doing a betting show soon. Props, I think mad props and parlays. And that's going to be exciting. If you're into the sports gambling, just obviously for participation purposes, we don't really want to lose any money like us. We don't want that. Oh, there's golf tomorrow, by the way. I haven't even looked at that. So on TV, the OKC is shooting for 200 points. We're at 71 with 5 minutes to go. 5 minutes to go in the first half. So 71-41. Wow. That's amazing. So what do you guys got to add? Last comments. Mondo, where can I find you? Give me some closing comments from you.
No, I mean, I'm on X on at Lakers Canes 305. Always going back and forth with Gio and everybody, the Canes and life and obviously this weekend, happy Mother's Day to everybody out there, all the moms. So great weekend this weekend. So great weekend for family time, and go Canes. Just ready for August 31st, to be honest with you. I can't wait for that. Like Gio mentioned, Labor Day weekend. Sunday night, I was there in the stands in 2017. I mean, if you're a Canes fan for life, like we all are, you despise Notre Dame. You always have. And that game is going to be pretty wicked. It's going to be a crazy environment.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. I was actually that game was amazing. I was at the Orange Bowl game when we won like 51-7 against when Jimmy Johnson, we're blocking punts up by 50. It was Ara Parsegan was having a heart attack on TV.
Yeah, they're running up the score. They're running up the score.
Forget that Notre Dame has scored 80 points in a row against every team. We don't care about that anymore before the Canes game. Hassan, thank you. Smash the like button. FTSN Network and awesome. Bobby and the guys. Let me just get this last question. Are we getting Jim Rodriguez for our betting guy? Who's Jim Rodriguez? I probably
I actually follow him. He's actually on X. He's he knows his stuff. He's a pretty good betting guy. Yeah.
All right, great. You're getting Brett and Mondo. There you go. Gio, what do you got, Jan? We got to pick a winner today for the CanesWear gift card as well. Gio, tell us a little bit about where you are 24/7.
Oh, you can find me on X at Gio Milian. You could also join the private board I have. If you're on the private board, you know a lot of stuff way ahead of time before I even say it on podcasts and stuff. You know right away in terms of the Hurricanes football and basketball. I'm not just a football guy. And and also we got the weekly show with me and Aman on Who Wants Smoke, which you can find on YouTube at @WhoWantsSmoke_Inc. Also make appearances on Locked On Canes, Comics on Canes with Michael Yo. Really busy.
He's a busy guy. I was telling a couple other people, if you guys want an expert, Gio's the guy. So Gio, your dance card may even be fuller. We didn't even speak basketball. It's been going so fast, this program. But do we like what Coach Lucas is doing over there?
Yeah, I mean, hard to say no. The guy is really doing great.
Basically, what a lot of the group chats say nowadays is, man, the basketball program got themselves a Mario Cristobal. He can recruit.
Well, that's cool. Hopefully he can coach. And that's to be seen yet. But and he spoke about defense. He wants to be the best defensive team in the country.
I love it.
And, they're 200-1 to win it all in basketball, by the way. Where the Canes football team is only 20-1, I think. So, but 200-1 on the Heat. And I went to bet it again. It says, you've already bet the most you can on it. I said, I haven't bet on it yet. That was last year. So check that out. I'm excited about the basketball season. The baseball season's coming around, and obviously the football season. We're all excited. Guys, thank you for joining the show. Thank you, Bobby, with FTSN. Please smash that like button. Follow them. Follow Gio. Follow Mondo. Gio, do you got anybody to pick out for the CanesWear $25 gift card?
I have someone, actually. I think should go with Pope Kane.
Pope Kane today we're going with. Okay, so he's going with Pope Kane today. Pope Kane, please go ahead and send Gio, Mondo, or myself your information with your email and name so we can send you out a $25 gift card. If you've won a gift card and you haven't sent your information, please send it out. I think a lot of our commenters have already won a gift card, which is great. And we appreciate everybody. We're going to come out with soon a cool CanesWear Podcast shirt also that we're going to be giving away as well. So that'll be something fun to look for as well. I just thought of that one. So, but thank you everybody for joining us. We appreciate you, and we will see you next week. All right.
Okay.
And
go Canes.
Go Canes. All about the U.